Hey, Chris with RC Worst here. Welcome back to another great video. Today we're going to be showing you how to change the lamp as well as the quartz sleeve in your Pura UV water filtration system. Now, when it comes to changing the lamp, the installation instructions recommend that you have 20 inches of clearance above the filter system as well as 20 inches of clearance below the filter system, and that's to allow you to replace the filters as well as the lamps easily, because the easiest way to replace this lamp is by pulling it through the top. But in cases where maybe you didn't have that clearance, it is possible to replace the lamp from the bottom, and that does happen from time to time depending on space constraints for a particular individual. So we'll show you both methods on how to get access to that lamp, but before we begin, I want to mention it's a good idea to have a 5-gallon bucket handy because these housings are full of water and you want to have somewhere for that water to go. So we'll start off by isolating our system here. We'll turn off our incoming water supply. Then we'll go off to a tap, maybe a kitchen sink or something along those lines, and we'll let off the pressure. So just open the tap and let the water come out. Once the pressure's off, come to your outlet side of your filter system, close that valve, assuming you've got those in place. And what that's going to do is make sure you don't have a bunch of water running back on you or anything like that, and allows you to easily pull your system off of the wall. So first I'll show you how to do the lamp replacement from the top. So with your screwdriver, you'll just remove the 4 screws that hold the control module in place. Now these screws are tiny, and I recommend just chucking them in your pocket, otherwise they will disappear. Okay, so with all 4 screws removed, then you just simply lift up on the module gently and pull the lamp through the hole here. Now, these lamps, you want to be very cautious and not handle them directly with your hands, so I recommend having some gloves handy, or in a pinch I've been known to grab a paper towel and just use that as a barrier between me and the lamp. Now this happens to actually be a brand new lamp, but when you get a new lamp, it's going to come in a cardboard tube, and that cardboard tube is going to have the bubble wrap and all that, so just pull that lamp out of there and make sure to handle it with care, not to touching any of the glass with your hands. You don't want any of the greases from your skin getting on there. They'll cause that lamp, 1, to burn out sooner, and 2, they're going to inhibit light at that particular region, so you have an increased potential for contaminants getting beyond the UV light. So keep those things in mind. And it's relatively easy to install, again, as long as you have the clearance. So I'll bolt this back down, or I'll screw this back down, and then I'll show you how we can replace the lamp from the underside, and at the same time I'll show you how to replace the quartz sleeve. Okay, so when it comes to replacing it from the bottom, the first step is to loosen your housing using your filter wrench, and then pull this guy off. Now you want to be careful that you pull this down straight, because there's that sleeve in there that's very fragile. So unthread it very slowly, feeling for that last thread. There we go. Beautiful. And that's why the clearance on the bottom is so important. So now we've got the quartz sleeve, and we can also see the light is inside of here. So the first step, we're going to have to get that sleeve out of there so that we can pull the light out. Now for this step, I'm going to go ahead and don some gloves here, because I want to make sure that when I'm touching this sleeve that I'm not getting any of the oils or greases from my hands on it. And removing the sleeve is pretty easy. You just pull straight down and give it a slight rotation. And just pull it gently down, and it's out. Now this piece doesn't always come out with the sleeve, but this is a piece that you want to keep if you're replacing that sleeve. You don't get a new one of these in the box. This is actually part of the system, and it inserts up into there. So I'm going to just set this up here, and the lamp is 4 prongs, just plugs in just like that. So this is where you would install your new lamp, taking care not to touch the glass again. And if you do, just come back with a towel with some rubbing alcohol on it, and that's gonna, allow you to clean that up. when it comes to installing the Quartz sleeve, you want to make sure that you lubricate this with some silicone-based lubricant before you install that. So we'll get some of our lubricant ready. Now we'll have to reinstall this piece before we actually reinstall the sleeve. So you saw how easy to remove the sleeve. It's the same process when you put a new sleeve in. We'll get a little bit of this lubricant on here, and I tend to just rub it around the top, and that way it can kind of go where it needs to go. So I've got that on there. Then you'll straddle your bulb. This part's very critical. You want to be very cautious as you insert this, giving it a slight rotation until it's completely seated. Now, we still had the red tape on here because this is a new unit, and that actually should be removed on installation, but we're just using this for demonstration purposes, so I'm leaving that tape on there. If you are unsure of the depth to install your Quartz sleeve, you can take a Sharpie and mark right at the top where this edge is to tell how far you're going to need to reinsert that, because sometimes I know that can be a challenge. Once that's complete, what I recommend you do on an annual basis as well is this steel material in here. You're going to want to take a towel with some alcohol on it and wipe that out really well, making sure that that surface is clean and as reflective as possible. Also, go ahead and inspect the other things while you're here, and once that's done, it's just a matter of putting this housing back on. Once again, on these housings, just hand tight is more than sufficient. And I also didn't mention it, but you want to make sure to lubricate the O-ring on the housing itself, because that's critical to making sure that this seals really well as making it easy for you to take this off the next time you're running maintenance on the system. So that's it. That's all it takes to replace the lamp or the sleeve, regardless of which one you're trying to replace, as well as some of the steps that you're going to want to take to ensure that it's very clean. Remember, you can always use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to clean any surfaces that you came in contact with, and that's highly recommended, just to make sure that there's not any of your oil from your skin getting on any of that stuff. So that's our video today. Thanks for joining me in another great RC Works video. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to our customer service department. We're always standing by, happy to answer your questions. We sell all of this equipment on rcworks.com, so feel free to buy your replacement products from us. Again, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.